Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanya. If you are new here, I make lifestyle mom vlogs. I hope you decide to like and subscribe. And today's video I want to talk about like the transition from 2 to 3 babies, because I get this question actually a lot. They're like, oh my god, you have 3 kids, like how do you manage all the things? So I wanted to talk about that because I feel like now that my 3rd baby is a year old, like we are very much into the groove of things. Like we definitely obviously feel like a family of 3. I think after like the first couple months we're like, okay, we're good. So I just have like quick notes on my phone, so that's why I'm looking. But I think so I'm gonna just be giving you like tips and things that have worked for us, and just take all this stuff with like a grain of salt. Like obviously if this overwhelms you, like take a deep breath, it'll be all okay, you got this. And just enjoy it, you know. And like at the end of the day, you do what's best for you, obviously, right? So like what has really helped our family is schedules. And they don't need to be anything like super rigid, but just like everybody knows what they're doing, you know, has really helped our family, especially now that we're like a family of 5, because I don't know how we do it. I don't know how I would be saying like I need a schedule. And like I slept trained all my kids, and I know that's very controversial, but like you do what's best for you. I know in the beginning it's difficult because they're newborns, and like Camila and my 2nd child were very fussy babies. I don't know if they had colic, like no, a doctor never told us like they had colic, but they were very fussy babies. When they were awake they were crying. So in the beginning it's hard, but I feel like after that 3 months they just like snap out of it. Well, at least in my experience. So if you're going through that, I feel for you, mama. Just hang in there and like just take everything day by day. But we usually eat breakfast around the same time of the day. They go for their naps around the same time of day. We eat lunch at this like similar time of the day. And don't get me wrong, if we want to go do something else, we want to go eat somewhere else, we just go do that. Like Camila can, because she's taking 2 naps, and then her last nap is very like in the evening time, so sometimes it could be inconvenient when we want to go do stuff. So if she doesn't take her 2nd nap, like if we're in the car and she doesn't take it, then oh well. And so that brings me to my 2nd point is have patience, you know, like, oh, be gracious. But I don't think I really learned that till my 3rd child. I wish I would have been the mom that I am now to my 1st, because the patience I have now is a big difference. Like obviously there's still work I can do, but there's a big difference. I don't stress about like such little things, about them not napping, for example. I'm just like, okay, they did a nap, like they might be a little bit fussy, but like let's go outside and try to make it better. I don't know, like here's the snack. Let me just give you extra cuddles, like, and that's really what makes the difference. I think you yourself transitioning to the 3rd kid, like you've already had 2 babies, you know what you're doing. And sometimes you feel lost, and those are just like, take that day by day. Tomorrow will be a new day, but you got this. This is your 3rd baby, and then I don't know if you're like, for me, this is my, especially was my last baby. I'm just enjoying the heck out of it, and I'm loving every moment and embracing every moment. So just remind yourself, like they're only little for so little, and I know people say that so much, but now that my oldest is like gonna be 5 this year, I'm like, oh my god, like how are you already gonna be 5? And then it just makes me even savor these moments with my other 2, just because I know how fast it goes. So don't beat yourself up if you had a bad day. Just, you know, take it on the chin, and tomorrow's a new day. So just not only be patient with your kids, but be patient with yourself. Like, you're going through all these hormones and everything, and like your whole family dynamic is changing again. So give yourself the grace and do what you need to do. Another tip I have is like, since you're outnumbered, is tag team things. Like, in the mornings I'm usually by myself. My husband is at work, but sometimes he's by himself too. So but in the evening, like after, like for dinner, I usually take Camila, and he'll take the boys a bath and do like their thing. And then once I put Camila down, since that's quicker than bathing the two boys, I clean up dinner and try to get all that done. And then I go watch a movie or whatever with the boys. And we alternate, like, who puts the boys down. Because the thing I noticed now that having multiple kids is, if dad keeps doing it every single time, all they want is dad. Like, dad is the favorite in the house, especially with the boys. Camila is still mine, but probably not for long. Usually when they become toddlers, they just love their daddy. But we, like, one night I put the boys to bed, and like he puts the boys to bed, just so there's no I only want papa, like, you know. So, because it really would hurt, it hurts my feelings when they only want him and they just are like, you know, go with the baby. Like, I don't want it to be that way. Like, spending time with them still is very important to me. I mean, I know we have a little baby, but she's a little older now, and I'm not nursing her, so she doesn't require, like, just me. So try to alternate bedtimes and, like, the routines you do, but really you utilize your partner so yourself are not so overwhelmed, and tag team the daily, like, duties, you know. I know even for us, like, I mainly do the laundry and stuff like that because I'm home more. But, like, let's say if I didn't do it and I went to work, he would just do it. So, and sometimes it's hard to, like, juggle that, but especially if you are a working mom too, and I work part-time, so I work 2 12-hour shifts. So for me, it's easier to manage that way and get stuff done, but utilize your partner. And then another time, especially with the bigger kids, is like, I try to have intentional time with them. Like, if the baby's napping, I try to set up an activity for them, like I was saying earlier, and spend that quality time with them. Because my older son is, like, getting into video games and stuff, and although I'm, like, not very good at video games, like, I'll play with him, but I'll ask him if he wants to do a craft. Recently we've been using the hot glue gun because I used it for Camila's birthday party. So he's been really into that. We build jungles, and we've built a boathouse, you know, whatever comes up. It doesn't have to be just that. And then with my middle, he likes playing my middle likes playing with Play-Doh, and I'll just sit there and make, like, whatever with him. It doesn't have to always be something so, like, elaborate, because especially when I'm home alone, like, it's not like I could take them individually somewhere, which my goal is to do that, to have, like, dates with them, but while the baby naps, like, let's do something together and utilize that she's asleep and I can have all my attention on you, because my kids' love language is very much like physical touch and, like, you being there. And, like, free from distractions, which another tip I've been doing is I just leave my phone, and, like, if I'm in the playroom, like, I'll leave it in the kitchen, and I'll just leave the sound on, so just in case, like, somebody called me or whatever. But that has helped me, because just having, like, my phone here is a big distraction for me. I don't know about you, but I just, like, every time, like, I just need that, like, for myself, so I can just pay attention to them. And another tip would be just, like, embrace the season of life you're in. You've been through postpartum before, not meaning that it's, I mean, I know each period is different for everybody in the postpartum journey. Luckily for me, it's been similar in the fact, I think with my second, I did have postpartum anxiety, and I've had anxiety since then. But just what I tried is like communicate with your partner, do things that you would normally do, things that fulfill you, you know? Don't forget that, like, you as a mom, if you are not happy and taken care of, you cannot take care of your babies as efficiently as you can, you know? And that's something I've learned with time, because I have neglected myself. I even tell people all the time that I feel like I just got like raised out of the water. Like, if not that I was drowning, but like I was just like swimming, and I'm finally like, my head's up, and I'm like, oh, I'm okay. Like, everything is okay. And this is like with my third kid. And just for reference, I have a almost, well, I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and now a 1-year-old. So I had my babies very back to back. So I love it in the bond, but it is like difficult. Just everything happens so fast, and you feel like you're like sometimes, and that's okay. But what's been like really helping me is I'm starting to do things that like I would do before. And I know I'm a mom, and that obviously is my priority, but I'm also a priority. And once you realize that, and once you get to that point where like, hey, that's okay, like I have feelings, and just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I can't do X, Y, Z. For example, like I went to a concert last night on a Tuesday, and I mean, my husband just had the kids, and I woke up and I had the kids today, like, and it was honestly, I feel so refreshed. I'm telling you, so refreshed. I feel so good. It was a great night, and I feel like this morning, even though like I got home really late, I'm just like ready to tackle the day, because I filled up my cup and I did something that I wanted to do. And that might look different for you. Maybe you don't like concerts, like maybe it's sewing, but I even have done a spa day, like with my friends, and just, you know, hanged out. So just don't forget that you matter, and you deserve also to be taken care of, because who's gonna take care of you? You need to take care of you too. But another one too, like regarding you and your relationship, is and I've talked about teamwork. You're doing all this teamwork and like breaking up. You got the boys, I get baby girl, like blah blah blah. But remember your spouse. And that's a tough one for me, because I feel like it's hard for us sometimes to go on dates, but we went on a date on Sunday, and it's just like so refreshing to just talk about just talk to your partner without like your little ones interrupting every 5 seconds, which is okay too, you know, but it's nice going and seeing and just talking to your partner and having like that intimacy with them. And it doesn't always have to be sexual, you know, just like, hey, reconnecting emotionally over some like yummy food, because, you know, like that's your team member. Y'all need to make sure y'all are good so you could be the best parents you could be. And especially when you're going for 2 to 3, like you have so much on your plate, like taking that break is amazing, and it's nice to reconnect. You know what, I was actually going to talk about like actual intimacy, like sexual intimacy, and I feel like this is like TMI, but sometimes like you're too tired, you're not in the mood, and I'm not saying like those are like valid points, but try to get yourself there sometimes. That sounds so weird, cringe, but because sometimes like I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, but then like after I'm like, whoa, that was amazing, like I feel so much better, I feel so much refreshed, like I have more patience, and like, so don't always knock it, you know. a little cringe, but you know, just saying, like, it does help, and it's important for your relationship too. I notice, like, when we go a period of not, we're more like irritable with each other, and it's just because we just haven't connected on that level. And it is an important part of marriage. It's very normal. I mean, we have 3 babies. And compared to all the transitions, like 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3, I know people always want to know which ones was the hardest. And I think for me, it was still 1 to 2. I feel like 1 to 2 was very hard. I feel like 0 to 1 was the easiest for me, because you could just always nap with them and everything. And 2 to 3, I was like used to juggling 2 kids, that a third was just like whatever to me, like, we got this. So to me 1 to 2 was the hardest transitions. And I think just because of I didn't know how to juggle, even though, like, I did have schedules for the kids. It's just like they were on opposite schedules, and that was hard. But I think since I was already used to that, 2 to 3 was like, another thing that I didn't expect whenever I went to 2 to 3 is, like, I nursed my babies, and it's like distraction central, especially like as they get older. I would literally have to go to like another room to nurse her, because the boys were just like, at first I would just like let them there. They weren't really distracting her, so it was whatever. But as she got older and she was more aware, I had to, like, usually I would nurse her whenever she would wake up anyway. So I would just stay in her nursery and nurse her there, and then come out. I mean, it took like, what, 10 minutes to nurse her, so it wasn't long. I just had to, like, make sure the kids had something to do, and it was fine. But they did, like, they were like, I would tell them, like, hey, baby's eating, you know, let her eat, and then she'll come out to play with y'all. And after some time of like that going on, they were so used to it, it was no big deal. Another thing I made sure is, like, try to include them in things. So, and this is like so important, I feel like, in the beginning, because so much attention is going to the baby. They're like, what about me? And I love that especially my oldest is such a sweetheart. Like, he would just like help with everything, and only if he wanted to. Like, I wouldn't be like, help me change your diaper, or like, give me a wipe, if he didn't want to. If he wasn't into it and he was doing his thing, I just would let him be. But if he was like there and very much like wanting to feel included, I would definitely include it. I just wouldn't force it. I just read what they're putting out, and if they want to help, cool. If they don't, like, hey baby, get the burnt brack for me. And it's been so nice, because even now, like, whenever she wakes up from her nap, they're like, I want to get her, like, and they don't literally get her out of the crib, but just like, you know, so she sees their little faces when she wakes up and she gets all excited. Even though they can't climb in there, so that's a little I have to be like, be careful. But it's so cute to see their bond, and just trying. Since my second and her are only, like, I think they're 18 months apart, or 19, around there. That's a little bit difficult, because he's still a baby. He was still a baby himself, like, when she was born. But now that she's a year and he's like 2.5, it's definitely much better. He like hugs her all the time, and it's and literally nothing makes my heart happier than seeing my babies bonding. It's so sweet to see. And sometimes it just takes time, because in the beginning, definitely my second and third were like, you know, step away. So just give it time if your babies still haven't bonded, and maybe do little things for them to, like, hey, baby wanted to give you a kiss, or I don't know, baby wants a cuddle, or just like, hey, baby got this Play-Doh for you, like how I was saying that we were playing activities. So just little things to include them, I think really make them feel validated and seen, and that has helped me a lot in our transition. I know it can be difficult whenever, like, if you have 3 kids and your oldest doesn't nap anymore. My suggestion to you, for you to get also like some time out and like regroup yourself in like the middle of the day, is quiet time. My boys do share rooms, so I would let him have quiet time there, but I usually just let him have quiet time in my room, and I'll be in the kitchen, like, you know, drinking a coffee, or I literally sometimes just sit in the playroom and just like drink my coffee in the playroom on the nugget and like just, you know, have a minute to myself. So having some type of quiet time if your oldest doesn't nap is so helpful. Another thing is, like, whenever we transitioned to 3 kids, we got the wonderful Wagon, which has been amazing. I think the only down part of it is that it's heavy, but like whenever we've been to the zoo or like the museum or whatever, it's perfect for 3 little kids. And it's nice to have like the extra seat, because if we're like with our cousins or their cousins or whatever, like we just throw one of them and they are like, oh my god, we're with our cousins. So that has been nice. And we also got the Duna for her, which has been amazing. So whenever like we're going out and about and the kids don't necessarily need to be in a wagon, in the wagon, we just put them, like, they just walk, and I have her in the Duna, and it was an awesome purchase. And then I know it's a little bit pricey, but Facebook Market, I got the Duna off of Facebook Market. Amazing, amazing. And then as far as going out, like, with all 3 of them by myself, it definitely took me like dipping my toe. I definitely wasn't like ready to go out with all of them, especially with her being little. I don't think I would actually go out with them. I think it took me like 4 months for me to like, hey, okay, let's try. And I would just do something little, so if it was a disaster, like, it wasn't a big deal, you know. And that would be my tip for you, to just like dip your toe in the sand. Don't do like a whole grocery trip and try to get everything, because that is difficult. Plus with 3 kids in your cart and try to fit everything for the week, it wouldn't work out for me. So actually for groceries, I always do pick up. I haven't gone grocery shopping. I try to avoid it at all costs because it gives me anxiety. I get overwhelmed and I just don't want to do it. So pickup is my best friend, has been my best friend since 2020. So love. For meals and stuff, what I've been doing for a long time, actually, even before I had 3 kids, is like on my notes section on my phone, I just write, like, it's kind of long, like you can see the glare of the, but I just have like, I usually do 5 meals, and I actually have the one that I need to put in today, for dinners for us, and like just having a plan for the week. And just because I have a dinner that night, if like, let's say our in-laws or whoever invited us to dinner, we'll just go to dinner, you know, like, and then tomorrow night we'll have that. So it's very flexible. It doesn't have to be like boom boom bam, but that has really helped. What did help me too, back when I would have, like, whenever my baby was like, having her on the wrap and then the 2 kids on the cart was a good deal for me, because the Duna, excuse me, is big, so I wouldn't want to put it in the cart. You can't fit anything in the cart, and then the 2 kids on the top just didn't work out. I would trust my oldest to be like walking, but then if I let my oldest walk next to me, then I have to, then my second is like, OMG, I want to walk too. So I just make them both be in the cart. I did a couple times, like for Target, I would just take the Wagon in there, and it was amazing because it fits like everything I need. So that's also a really nice tool whenever you're like just shopping by yourself, and you know, sometimes you just have to go to the store. You can't wait for him to get home or whatever the scenario is. And then a very good question is like, what is it like when you're alone with all 3 of them? And like I mentioned before, at first it was very overwhelming, especially since she was such a distracted feeder. But like I said, I would just stay in the nursery, and like, you learn your babies and you'll adjust. So don't put so much pressure on yourself that you need to know everything like now. And you know, definitely like, you'll try things that work and some things that don't. So for us, like, I would just leave the door open on the nursery, and like whenever I would get her out of her crib, I would still have the sound machine on and like nurse her, and then go out and like burp her outside, which really was super nice for us. Some days just got super hard, you know, when they like don't want to nap and stuff like that. And like, she didn't sleep through the night till like 9 months, I want to say. And we did sleep train, but we sleep train where it's not like, if they're really having a hard time, I'm not gonna let them cry for an hour straight. Like, I'll go in there and I'll try to cuddle them, but I think she would nurse throughout the night, and I didn't really, I don't know, I guess maybe it's the same, it was my last one, but I did that with all 3 of them. If they needed a nurse through the night, that I would actually help my supply and stuff, so I was gladly woke up and nursed them. 2 to 3, man, it's beautiful. I love it. I think if my husband was so down, I would go from 3 to 4, but the ship has sailed. We are done. I'm so blessed with my babies, and I hope this video really helped you. And just, I mean, I'm also, just a little insight, like, I'm 27. I had my first baby at 21 or 22, my second at 23, and then my third at 26. So and that's like, I'm just a young mom, like, just trying to figure out. I didn't have all the tools and everything, and somebody to tell you like, hey, wait, everybody's just like, oh my god, you're having 3 kids, like, wow, like, that's a lot, and you're how old? Like bye, okay. I'm so tired of those comments. So whatever age you are, it doesn't really matter. You understand me. Always a big tip, if you just feel overwhelmed, is always go outside. Go outside, get the water table filled up. And like, now that she's older and she loves the water table, actually that's what we got her for her first birthday, and she's just out there. And then I feel like I'm way less, I don't care about like if they get dirty. Like, even if she's in a full outfit, which we live in Texas and it's 100 degrees, so she's not in like anything crazy, but I just let her, all of them, I just let them be, get wet, enjoy it, and that literally will turn around the whole day. So back to the patience thing, that has really, like, I used to get so frustrated with them getting dirty, and now I'm just like, and then I bring them a popsicle outside and they're literally as happy as they can be. So just don't sweat the small stuff. If they get dirty, if they, like, they'll have a popsicle before dinner, and it's like, whatever. I feel like I'm way more laid back. I would never have done that. Even my husband jokes around with me all the time. They're like, oh, with Bash, you never, like, whenever we go out to eat for dinner, and I'll cut up pieces and like put it in front of her, and with Bash I would always have those like stick on mats for them, like when we would go out, and now I'm just like, no, I just like clean it off and then put them on. And the only reason really I stopped doing that was because my second would always peel it off, and she would too. So I'm just like, whatever, I just want you to eat. You know, people ask me all the time, like, how's life, like, with 3, like, you must be so stressed. And don't get me wrong, like, I do have stressful days, and sometimes it's completely insane, and it's tough, but it's also like motherhood, and that's just motherhood for you. It's like you've never been so stressed and like the happiest you've ever been at the same time. And I really just try to remind myself of that. Like, I am truly the happiest I've been, and it's all because of these babies, and one day I won't have them home, and that really breaks my heart. And I think just like having my last baby just has even more taught me that like, hey, they're only little for so little. Like, you're not even nursing anymore, so just enjoy the heck out of your babies. And I know, especially if you're watching a video like this, I know you're such a good mama, and you know your baby's better than anybody. Trust your gut. You're amazing. I appreciate y'all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.